Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh man, I'm 3 minutes late. I feel bad for that. I feel bad for that. But I don't feel bad enough to kick it in high gear for you this morning because the problem was technology. Damn technology. Mike Conley is going to be on the show with me this morning, and I can't wait. I've literally was rolling around last night thinking about my good friend Mike Conley, and I'm thinking, what? I mean, there's so much I can talk about Mike Conley. He's been my friend from high school. He's been friends with everybody in this community for years and years and years. Not only was he good athlete, but he was a good guy. I mean, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, but he was probably a better guy than he was an athlete. I don't know. I think he was good at everything, but the thing that stands out with me with Mike Conley was he was always himself. He was always himself, no matter we were playing sports or we were playing life or we were playing family, we were playing neighbors, we were playing games. And I think that's what we need to talk about this morning. I think we need to talk about life, games, fun. What does it all mean? And my constant press for you this whole week is, what is your story? Because without a story, we're just average, right? We're just like gonna come and go from this world. I mean, I want to leave a mark, man. I want to leave a skid mark. You know, you ever see a road mark where someone's hit the skid and it's like 40 feet long? It's like that person burned it up. That's what I want to, I want that mark. And I'm not going to bring someone on this show that isn't leaving a mark. You know? Now, don't give me fan mail that says you should be driving slower. I know that's what you're thinking. Mike Conley's going to give a little bit of a story today, and we're going to follow up with some questions with him because he's a very super interesting guy. Tom's Donuts has been making donuts for 50-some years now, 1970 to 2023, 53 years. Now, that's a story. That's a wired differently story. That is like one of my 14 organizations, and, you know, it's got a special spot in my heart. I mean, I love Wired Differently. I love PayServe. I know my PayServe people out there are watching and listening. I love you guys. I mean, listen, PayServe, 20-some, what are we? We're 20 years old this year. Congratulations, PayServe. That's a whole story right there. That's a lifetime for a lot of business people, 20 years. Wow. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Tracy, my wife, my partner, my love. Thank you, all the employees at PayServe, even the ones that aren't there anymore, those groundbreakers. The first two we hired was basically myself and my wife, and then we picked up some people and we started putting this piece of PayServe together, and everybody didn't stay forever, but that's okay. But you're all part of this process, right? You're all part of this amazing story of PayServe. And then Tom's Donuts started in 1970. My father started that, and that story is just epic. It's grown to, oh man, world proportion. The staffing company. Listen, my staffing company, I started in 2000 and, geez, Heather, tell me how I'm 2015, 16, 14, something like that. And we started that with literally $1,000, and now it's a $5 million company. I mean, and that company's got its own story. It's interestingly enough, but that story was a great story. It's a great business story. I can't wait to tell you that story. I literally went to one of my payroll clients and they needed some employees. And the guy said to me, he says, Todd, I can't get anybody to work. But I said, I'm here to talk to you about payroll. And he said, well, I'm here to tell you that I'm unhappy. I don't have anybody to work. I've asked everybody in this community and they won't come to work here. And I said, well, how many do you need? He said, if I could just have 5 by Tuesday, I would be happy. I said, it just happens to be that I opened up a staffing company. He said, really? I said, yeah, what are you paying? And I said, that's funny. I'm paying about a point. I'm charging about a point less than that. He said, really? I said, I'll tell you what, if I have 5 employees over to you by Tuesday, will you hire my staffing company? He said, absolutely. I went back to the office and I said, Heather, get me a workers' comp policy in Indiana. She said, why? I said, call You Matter Staffing. She said, okay. And I said, let's get it going. She goes, why? What do we do? I said, we just built our own staffing company. We got to get 5 employees to IMP by Tuesday. And she looked at me and she smiled and she laughed and she shook her head. She said, okay, I'll get that comp policy. We got those 5 employees by Tuesday. That company's worth $5 million now. I mean, it's like, look, I just want you to understand, we all have a story. Good stories, bad stories. I don't think there is such a thing. I'm going to ask my friend Mike Conley, who's waiting by. I got him on the phone here so he can hear me over the phone. We had some audio problems. And he's sitting behind the scene. I'm going to ask him his story. I know his story. I know about his mother. I know about how growing up and the things that create us, right? Thank you for Tom's Donuts, people. Thank you for You Matter Staffing, people. Thank you for PayServe Systems, my people. Thank you for Wired Differently, people. I mean, we're not anything but what we create or want. The story that you have is something that somebody put on top of you. The story that becomes of you is something that you put out onto the world. Tom's Donuts, I could have told the story in 2017 when the stores were shutting down and foundering. And that would have been the story, the end of the legacy of Tom's Donuts. My father would have shrunk away in his older age, and my brother would have been forced to go do something a little different. And my sister would have been in a situation to do something different. And the legacy of that story would have been told differently. You see, that story was put on top of me. I was born into the story. We're all born into a story. But the story that comes out is the story that's told by the author, by the narrator. We see it in politics all the time. It's the story that's told. It's the story that's verified. It's the story that's the narrative. It's the story of the day. It's the story. It's the story. It's the story. I can't tell you how important your story is for your children, your friends, and your legacy. If you don't want a legacy, I don't have a problem with it. But listen to me, my friends. You need a story. If you're an entrepreneur, you need a story. If you're someone who loves and wants to share life, you need a story. Without a story, you're a blank piece of paper. Do you realize that when I write my books, the pressure that I have inside of me, the pressure to literally write words that go into the computer, that go onto a piece of paper, that goes into Amazon or any other place on the internet, that someone pushes a key and then sends the word from my head that went to the pen, to the paper, to the book, to Amazon, out to the world, into a book that gets printed, that gets shipped to these people, and they sit there one day and they open the book and they read the words that I've prayed about and that I've toiled about and then I've penned. And from my head directly to their head becomes a connection. The story goes on. I don't have a better friend in this world than Mike Conley. I don't have a better witness. I don't have, I mean, baby, I'm excluding you, honey. I know you've suffered through 40 years in beauty and work and wired differentliness, but I really don't have a better advocate in many, many ways than I do with Mike Conley. How goes it, Mike Conley?
Fine, you get me all emotional.
I want to get some feedback from some of my friends out there because I just don't know how our sound's working out, and I'm playing you through the cell phone, and I think it's going to work out great, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear yourself? Well, you're not on a video. Let me just check with some fans out there. Fans, I see a bunch of you out there. Can you tell me about, can everybody hear me? You sound good, but hard to hear Mike. All right, Jason, how does this sound right here?
How's this sound? Hello, good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Jason.
That better? I don't know what happened.
I don't know, but I think this should work. Everybody good? I think we got it.
Cool.
Much better. Okay, so Mike, tell me about what you're sitting. Are you sitting in building 1 right now?
I was going to do that, but I wanted to stay home with my dogs in Fort Wayne, and it was 40 degrees this morning. So I really thought I'm just going to stay in Fort Wayne, and I'm in the shrine this morning in Fort Wayne, my Steelers shrine.
Oh, nice, 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 nice. Well, listen, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your story. I know a lot about you. I know that you're an amazing dude, and I really gave you a great monologue. And I really wanted to challenge people with their own stories in this world. I want people to understand. I mean, I think what we're going to talk about today with you is a great thing. I think it's an amazing thing of our story of friendship and what we're doing at Tom's Donuts together. But I mean, there was many, 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 many years from high school till even now, our reconnection in life, that you created a story. You've been doing a lot of things, and I'm just going to highlight a few things that I wanted to talk about with you that comes up first and foremost in my mind. Is one is you're an amazing. This word caretaker comes in my head because I just know that you take care of a lot of people. You've been a great, great family man. You've been through some interesting growths in life and when you're a young man, and maybe you want to talk about some of those things because I think it's important we talk about what we build on. The next thing that comes up in my mind is your professional recording career. And I love the fact that you're one of these guys that went out there and went for it. And you've got history to prove for it. And then you got this sensitive side to you. And then you got this countryside to you. So I put together a little bit of a montage here of some images I had. And one of the first images I found on your Facebook was this flag. And I thought, man, it's Memorial Day coming up. And this guy is patriotic. When I throw this, what's this picture do for you when I send it up? This is your picture. This is not something I took this off of your Facebook and some of your social media. Why is this on there, Mike?
Because we live in the greatest country in the world, in my opinion, and we have freedoms that not everybody gets to enjoy. I many times count my blessings, and in that, somebody on the other side of the world is trying to figure out where they're going to get their next glass of water. So I kind of look at it like, what do we have to complain about? I mean, this is a great, great country. Right. And that's what needs to be, Todd.
I appreciate that on this Memorial Day. And you're going to be at Tom's Donuts playing all summer. And you kick us off. And you're just a brilliant voice and you're a brilliant advocate of our country and water. This is another one I found on your website. Speaking of water, why is this important to you?
Well, that's actually my friend Greg Kick. And Greg's kind of a legend up on the lake there. He's the guy that's running around. Actually, Greg runs around in a barge. And he always, if you see Greg, he's the one that has the American flag on the bar and around the lake. But he had that, and that was just, I'm like, man, I got to get a picture of that. That is history.
That's history. So the precursor to Tom's was Lake James, Indiana, Bludso's Beach, and we knew the Bludsos very well. And unfortunately, that dynasty moved on, and we've been able to pick up the mantle as Tom's Donuts and be the lake advocate in many, many ways. Lake James Club is out there; they're doing a great job, and of course, we got Mr. Daggard out there on the galley selling things on the sandbar, his restaurant. But we're really us in the galley are holding it down, aren't we, Mike?
Absolutely. There's a culture, and there's a level of expectation when you head up to the lake for the first weekend. You're going to get that donut. You're going to get those steak tips.
I want you to understand. What about this picture right here? Is this building 1? I'm hoping it's building 1.
You know what, Todd? That actually is building number 2.
Oh,
pretty similar to building number 1. So, it connects to building number 1.
Well, tell me, let's pretend this is building 1, because this is where we have coffee and we look over Lake James in your amazing office. We talk about the 80s.
There's just an energy there. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, there's, talk about history. It was our lake property up there used to be the old Souls Bay Marina. And I'm sure a lot of people have stories about, when they were kids going down there and fishing off the piers. So, that property has a really awesome history, and I feel very fortunate that we have it in our family. So, and I'm pretty fortunate because I have a couple different man caves, and definitely those gold barns up there.
Well, Mike's a super interesting guy. So he is a commercial broker. He's an amazing commercial real estate agent. Him and his mother have a business that they dominate. They do a great job, and I love using Mike on the commercial side. He also owns, we want to call it Souls Bay Marina. What do we call it now?
Souls Bay Yacht Club and Storage is what we have up there.
And you are the largest yacht club, storage, on-water facility in the entire chain of lakes. Is that not correct, Mike?
That is correct. Yeah. But the funny thing is, we're quiet. We're private. It's all gated. A lot of people, there's some people that just have never heard of us, and we've been up there this is our 30th year, actually, around 30 years, man.
Yeah.
It's not. Year 1 was 13 boats and 2 porta potties. And now we have, I think, 86 boats. No, over 90.
Part of your story, brother.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. And the other thing that kind of hit me one day is, we've had people that have been there for, 10, 15, 20 years. And somebody was talking to me like, yeah, this is just part of the kids growing up. And it really just kind of hit me like, wow, we really are kind of part of their story. And those memories that you have as a child going to the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of weird moment for me. So
yeah. Cool. Well, I think, and we're bouncing all over because you're such an interestingly creative man. But I think one of the big things about us is when you get in your car, or truck, or Jeep, we're going to talk about all that, but you call me once in a while.
Yeah.
And when I'm on my way to the lakes, I think of you, and sometimes I call you too. And so there's just something about that lake connection that frees your soul, right?
Yeah, it is. There's no doubt. And like I told you the other day, I was just kind of joking, but one of my missions in life is to keep verbal communication alive. And right. I just think just calling somebody, like if I'm thinking about you, I might just call you and say, hey, Todd, for no other reason. I just wanted to say good morning, and I was thinking about you.
Yeah. Well, good morning, everybody. This is Mike Conley, a dear friend of mine. His story is somewhat of a scattered story because he's so good at so many things. And we're going over things right now. And I just put a little Mike Conley montage together because I like looking at him. He's a nice looking man. I mean, come on, look at this guy. There's nothing he can't do, can't say. He has, I don't know that he has one enemy in the world. I can't say that, but Mike Conley can say that. But at the end of the day, it's an amazing, amazing thing. And so this is you and you're singing. This is your first album, a Christmas album.
Yeah. I'll never have a better picture than that
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
And actually, the guy that did that, when he's taken, he's with Toyota now, and he's like their main photographer for Toyota Racing, and he just is Shakur, and that he nailed that one for sure.
All right, Mike. Well, listen, I just want to take you through three of these. This is a nice image of a nice lady. I read the story online about her and how she would dance out when you were singing, and you finally got enough guts to ask her, like, why are you dancing out there alone so often, ma'am? And she said, well, I'm not alone. I'm dancing with my husband.
Yep.
I love that story.
So many lives in Fort Wayne. I mean, she always she sang at the honor flight every time that with the big band, and she'd get out there and dance. And when she was a tad bit younger, when I say that, mid to late 70s, she'd go out and karaoke, and I'd call her in the morning. I go, Dottie, what time did you get in last night? She goes, oh, we got in around 3 o'clock. So she never drank. She wasn't like wild. She just liked to go out and sing and mingle. And she was just such a young spirit. And she passed away last year. God rest her. And I loved her so much. She was she sang one of the songs on my Christmas albums.
I saw that. So yes. This Christmas album is what I really want to kind of close out with and kind of pull your story together here. Listen, you're doing a great job on this show. If everyone out there is listening, we keep following. We got more and more followers. So Mike Conley, dear friend, Lake James, he performs at Tom's Donuts every weekend without fail. He helps bring other entertainment to Tom's Donuts. And I think that's what's most attractive to me about Mike is that he wakes up in the morning saying, what can I do for somebody else? And, I got to tell you, I wake up that way once in a while, and I need to be better at that. But Mike, just by auto drive, just does it every day. And I want to thank Mike publicly for being such a great friend, a great soul, right? And it's no coincidence you live on Souls Bay, right? Because you got a great, great soul. Mike has created a Christmas album. He's done amazing things. I have his Christmas album. I've downloaded it. I listened to it. I listened to it in the summer. I mean, it's that good. Mike, tell us where we could find your album.
Oh, Spotify. You can listen to it there. You can iTunes. I mean, it's on all Amazon. It's all over the place. I have hard, obviously, if you ever wanted to hit me up. MikeConley.net, which I've neglected my website. Sad.
Well, it's Conley, Conley, just like it sounds, Conley. Mike Conley on Spotify. Go do me a favor, friends. Go out there and download this album and listen to it this week. I know it's not Christmas, but it is beautiful. He has a beautiful voice. And get out to Tom's Donuts this weekend at the donut capital of the world, at the Mike Conley stage. We named a stage after Mike Conley. We got a brand new tent for him this year because he doesn't want to get burnt. That's his only request. Pay me on time. Give me free donuts. Let me see Tom Saylor, and make sure there's a tent over my head. I got it, Mike. You're doing a great job. I think that you have single-handedly elevated our brand in many, many ways. My brother Shane, can't say enough nice things about you. I know growing up you had some challenges, and I just wanted to recognize you publicly as an overcomer. I wanted to recognize you publicly as a wired differently individual. Now, unfortunately, we're running low on time right here, and I just wanted to hear you, Mike, give us a little bit of your motivation of how is it that you stay happy all the time? How do you stay forward? Why? I mean, I think a lot of people want to understand that story of Mike and how those things work in your life. And then we're going to take this thing out.
I've been thinking about that a lot lately is happiness. And I think the thing with happiness is it's subjective. It's what makes me happy might not make the next person happy, might not make the next person happy. And I think it's just a matter of each of us looking in the mirror and asking ourselves, what makes me happy? And what I've been able to do, I can honestly say I'm happy. It's very rare that I'm not happy. And I think maybe it's just a matter of just embracing some of the simple things, like that cup of coffee that you're sipping on and how delicious that is. And that sort of thing makes me happy.
Especially when we're having it together.
Yeah, just walking by somebody at the grocery store and saying, "Hey, good morning," and having them look at you weird and smile and, get the good morning back. I mean, just little things. If all of a sudden you can embrace the little things, all of a sudden by the end of the day, you have maybe 10 or 11 little instances that make you happy. And then at the end of the day, you're going to be happy. You just got to kind of, maybe someday you got to work for it a little bit more, but it's there. It's there.
Yeah. So it's a choice, isn't it? I mean, you have to choose. I mean, really, you have a choice. You can be happy or not be happy. I mean, it's only up to you, right? And so if your default is one or the other, that's fine. But I mean, it's your choice, right, Mike? You could choose. I mean, I've literally been in a situation where I've just decided I don't want to be happy. I'm going to feel better being curmudgeon for some reason, being depressed or letting those crazy thoughts roll around and let me sit in it, waft in it.
It's the quote about attitude. Attitude is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it.
Right. Yeah. So Mike's point is, if really being happy or not being happy is a choice, then why not choose happiness? Because we know it helps you live longer. It helps you be more affable. It helps you share a lot of things in this world, right? And so,
everybody has a bad day, and everybody has their challenges, and sometimes they're just terrible and really hard. But you have to just try and work to find that positive. Sometimes you just gotta work a little harder. Some days than others, but
sometimes you have to work a little harder to be happy. That's what Mike Conley just told us. I know that what Mike's asking of us is interesting for some of us, right? But I think he has a really strong point. And if I could land on one piece of his story, one piece of what's going on in Mike Conley's life and what he's given me and what he's given the community. And I hope a lot of people see this because he is a role model for me for sustaining, joy. And so, we talk about happiness being circumstantial, but joy, just happens. We can buy happiness, right? We can buy a Tom Donut and be happy for a little bit, but it's not lasting, right? I think what Mike's talking about right now is joy. I think Mike is talking about joy, something that just happens. You can't buy joy. You can't buy a Mike Conley. You can't buy what Mike Conley feels, what he embodies in an interview like this. You just can't go out and purchase it at Walmart. You can't get on Amazon and order it. They're not going to UPS joy to your front door. They can UPS happiness, but not joy. I want you to think about that for a moment because Mike Conley just taught me this lesson in spades right now. It's like, if you can order it on Amazon, it's only happiness. If it can be shipped to you overnight with a special order and brought in a brown box by a brown truck, it's happiness. But if you can't get it over the internet and you can't get it in a brown box by a brown truck, if you can't get it by walking into Tom Donut, and it's great, it's joy.
Keep digging, keep looking until you get it.
Joy just happens, brother. Well, Mike Conley, I got to tell you, and I'm literally rocked because I haven't seen you in person yet, and it's been months. And so I've been getting teased on this. I'm going to find you today. I'm going to come out and give you a big hug. And we're going to work on your StreamYard so we can figure out how to get you on here, and I don't have to get a bicep cramp. But listen, a couple things are going on right now. I got to get to a meeting. We're at 30 minutes, and my battery light's saying, get off the air. You're going to run out of juice. Listen, man, God bless you, brother.
You too, man.
Listen, my friends, Mike Conley's no joke. He is no joke. This guy is remarkable. And I want you to take one thing as we close out today. Mike Conley represents joy. I want to know what you're doing in joy. I want to know what's coming to you, not in a brown box, in a brown truck. Get to toddsaylor.com, toddsaylor.com. Get to the donut capital of the world. Come see me. Come see my family. Come see Mike Conley perform at 8 o'clock in the morning. Come see Chad. Come see Chris. Come see Heather. Come see Abby. Come see Jeannie. Come see the whole gang. We're all going to be there for the next 3 days for fireworks. Lots of fun. We're going to be kicking some tail, taking some name, and enjoying the life at the lakes because we're bringing you joy. You cannot bring this in a UPS truck or in a brown box. Let's get it on like Donkey Kong. Let's let it rip, potato chip. I love you guys.